Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're going to be talking about Santa's reindeer today.
Oh, yeah, one of the best parts of Christmas.
Yeah, I bet you think you know him pretty well.
Yeah.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and all those. But getting to the famous nine is a pretty interesting story.
It really is. I mean, just think about it. It wasn't always a team of 8, let alone 9.
Right. So let's talk about that. What sources do we have that talk about this?
Well, the very first time we hear about Santa having a reindeer was in 1821.
Wow, that's early.
It is. It's a children's poem. It's called The Children's Friend, a New Year's present to the little ones from 5 to 12.
Okay, so is that the poem with the 8 reindeer? The one that everyone knows was the night before Christmas?
That one's actually from 1823 and called A Visit from St. Nicholas.
Ah, okay.
But the thing about The Children's Friend is that there's only one reindeer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it doesn't even have a name.
So no comet, no Cupid, no nothing. Just Santa and, Reindeer X.
That's right. It really wasn't until Clement Seymour's A Visit from St. Nicholas in 1823 that we got the 8 reindeer we all know today.
Okay, so that's where the 8 come from. But
Mm.
wasn't there something about more changing a couple of the names?
Yeah, the last 2 reindeer, the ones we know as Donder and Blitzen, were originally Dunder and Bliksem.
Huh.
They're actually Dutch words meaning thunder and lightning.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, they definitely fit the image of Santa flying through the sky.
You know, Dunder and Blitzen do have a good sound to them, but I guess Dunder and Blitzen just roll off the tongue a bit easier.
Probably. It seems like Moore was really trying to perfect how the poem sounded, like all the way down to the names.
Speaking of names, we can't forget about Rudolph.
Mm.
But he wasn't part of this original crew, right?
Nope. He didn't show up until 1939.
Really?
He was created by Robert L. May for Montgomery Ward department stores as a Christmas promotion.
Interesting. So he was like a marketing thing first. But before we get to Rudolph, I think there was another author who had their own version of Santa's reindeer.
You're thinking of L. Frank Baum?
Oh, yeah. The Wizard of Oz guy.
That's him. He wrote a book in 1902 called The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. And he had 10 reindeer.
Whoa. 10? That's a full sleigh. What were their names? Anything whimsical like in Oz?
Definitely. He had Flossie and Glossy, among others. Really unique pairings. I guess even back then, Christmas traditions weren't set in stone.
That's amazing. So we've gone from one nameless reindeer all the way up to 10.
Yeah, it's quite the evolution.
We've talked about how many reindeer there were and what their names were, but are they just regular reindeer? Or is there something, I don't know, magical about them?
That's a great question. To understand flying reindeer, we gotta understand reindeer, like regular reindeer.
All right, buckle up, everybody. Let's learn about reindeer.
When you think about reindeer, you usually picture them in like snowy landscapes.
Yeah, totally. Winter Wonderland vibes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right. And it's not just a pretty picture either. They're really well adapted to living in some of the harshest places on Earth, like the Arctic tundra and mountain ranges.
Wow, so they're not just for Christmas. They're like total survival experts.
They are. And it all comes down to how they're built. For instance, their hooves are way wider than other deer.
Oh, right, like snowshoes.
Exactly. It keeps them from sinking into the snow. But that's not all. Those hooves also work like shovels.
Oh, so they can dig for food.
Yeah.
What is there to even eat in the snow, though?
Well, they mostly eat lichen.
Lichen, what's that?
It's a type of fungus that grows in those really rough climates. It's actually super good for them. And reindeer have a special digestive system to get all the nutrients out of it.
So like those mossy things you see growing on rocks. Never thought of that as food.
Yeah, probably not on our menus, but for reindeer, it's essential. And when food gets scarce, they've got another trick. They can actually slow down their metabolism to save energy.
Oh, whoa, that's kind of like going into power saving mode, right? Through the tough times.
That's a good way to put it. They're incredibly adaptable. But I think what you really want to know is, how do these guys fly?
Well, yeah. I mean, they do pull Santa's sleigh. It's got to be
Yeah.
magic, right? Unless the whole thing's made up.
Honestly, they don't have any secret wings under all that fur. But the idea of them flying, it comes from old stories and legends.
So it's more about, like, the spirit of Christmas, the wonder of it all.
Exactly. Santa's reindeer flying through the night, delivering presents everywhere. That just captures how exciting and magical the holidays are.
Yeah, I can see that. But it would still be pretty amazing if they could actually fly, wouldn't it?
For sure. But even without wings, reindeer are still incredible. I mean, just being able to live in those extreme places is a feat in itself.
That's true. It makes them pulling Santa's sleigh even more impressive. But why reindeer in the first place? Why not, like horses or something?
That is a good question. To answer that, we need to look at how important reindeer were to people, especially in places like the Arctic, where they've been a part of life for so long.
Yeah, okay. Let's get into that. Okay, so reindeer have been important in the Arctic and places like that for a long time. What's the story there?
Well, they've been essential for people in those regions for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like transportation, food, clothing, basically everything. They're a huge part of those cultures. And of course, that means they pop up in their mythology and folklore too.
Right, they were more than just animals. They were like partners in survival, so they'd be in the stories for sure.
Exactly. In Norse mythology, there's the god Thor,
Okay.
and his chariot is pulled by these two goats, Tengrisnir and Tengoster.
Goats? I thought we were talking about reindeer.
We are, but these weren't your average goats. They were super strong and fast, even flying through the air. Some people think that image might have inspired the idea of Santa's reindeer flying.
Wow, so those goats might be the reason we picture reindeer flying today. That's pretty wild.
It's a cool idea, right? And a lot of cultures have stories about magical animals pulling things across the sky.
Yeah, that's true.
And reindeer, I mean, they're already known for being tough and living in wintry places, so they kind of fit that image perfectly.
The sources also mentioned something about shamans and reindeer. What's that all about?
Oh, yeah. Shamans were like spiritual leaders in Siberia and the Arctic,
Oh,
and they believed they could talk to spirits.
okay.
Reindeer were a big part of their ritual.
Oh, so they were like sacred or something.
It was even more than that. They believed that reindeer could help them travel to the spirit world.
Whoa.
Yeah, like guides, helping them go between the real world and the spirit world.
Huh. So maybe the idea of reindeer flying and delivering gifts comes from that they could
Hmm.
go to another world.
It's a really interesting connection, and it shows how things we do today for Christmas might actually come from really old beliefs about nature and the world.
It's amazing how all these ideas come together in the story of Santa's reindeer.
Hmm.
We've gone from just one, no name, to 8 famous ones, and then Rudolph shows up later.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got these connections to myths and old traditions. It's pretty cool.
For sure. And it just shows you how traditions change over time. They mix together old stories, beliefs, and even real life experiences.
I wonder what will happen to the story in the future. Maybe Santa will get a new reindeer. Or maybe the sleigh will become super high-tech.
Who knows? But whatever happens, people will always love the story of Santa and his reindeer. It's too magical not to.
Absolutely. Even if they don't have real wings, they represent something really special to us, especially around Christmas.
I agree. They connect us to old stories and winter wonderlands.
So there you have it. That's our look at Santa's reindeer. They're more than just names on a list. It's like a whole journey through history and culture and how we see the world. So next time you think about them flying through the sky, remember all the stories and beliefs behind them. Happy holidays, everyone.